How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which was up over 8% on the day. We had a strong day inside of the market, and of course, Lucid followed along with it. You've heard me talking about this for quite some time already. And plus, on top of that, we finished above the 21-day EMA. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't be wasting any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $18.89, being up 8.25%. On the low, it tested $17.20, and then on the high, testing $19.30. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 25.039 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 24.204 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, and it's part of the reasons why we've seen some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 50.82. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and we are above the 21-day EMA. And this is exactly what you want to see. So we ended up seeing a high at $19.30. So we know going into tomorrow, if we have strength in these markets, we want to see Lucid being able to get above $20. This has been a constant area of resistance, so you want to keep this in mind. And if it's able to break above $20, I would like to see a move to the 50-day moving average at $20.84. And reclaiming this level will definitely be a great look for this stock. Now, if we decide to have a pullback, on the low we tested $17.20. So we want to see a higher low to maintain that bullish pattern going into next week. So we want to see support holding up at least at $18. But of course, anything above $17.20 is not bad either. But overall, great performance on Lucid for the day. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. As we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 26th, we have First Trust Dorsey Wright People's Portfolio ETF, that was a mouthful, with 199 shares. And then we have HCM Defender 100 Index ETF that purchased 11,713 shares. We also have a closed position, and that's it for the 26th. So now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 58.84%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 4.68 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 75,000, updated 16 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 13.27%, with the max on the day being at 14.50%. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume for the close of the 24th, it was at 58.66, and then for the close of the 25th being at 58.84. So that is up there. And then we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 24.25%. Lucid does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it is at 77.77 million. And then on the outflow, it's at 68.94 million. So it was an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown. On the large, it was 8.01 million. On On the medium, it was 44.41 million, and then on the small, it was 25.35 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 1.12 million. On the medium, it was 40.34 million, and then on the small, it was 27.48 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 26th, we had that big inflow of 6.89 million. And then when we analyze numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then for the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, you can clearly see we had a lot more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.50%. So this is a consistent range for Lucid. And considering how strong the markets were, one thing that was clear, there was a good amount of demand in the market, especially for the whales and all the big money. So now let's move on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, before we start talking about the price action, let's go over some recent news that came out. I can't verify this, but I got to put it out there. I want to keep you guys inside of the know. So here it is. So the street color, Lucid Group replaces executive in charge of build quality as company struggles to ramp up production. Let me know inside of the comments your feedback in regard to this. We know that they had to do a recent recall and so forth, so this move would not shock me whatsoever. They want to make sure that they have the right management in place to make sure they can execute on their goals. So if this ends up being the case, I'm not mad at it whatsoever. Now let's talk about the price action. So we were able to actually close above the 21-day EMA, and this is very important because now we see it is on a strong uptrend. It also did form a higher low as well, and we know the next level that we want to see Lucid get to is at $20, but we also know it is a psychological area. But the great thing about it is, as far as for the high of the day, we ended up getting to $19.30, and this is a great sign. If we can break above this high going into tomorrow, if we have continued strength in the markets, that's where I want to see how well we can do as far as getting past $20. But there is a potential chance we could have a pullback. We are going into Friday. You know, we're going to have a long weekend that's going to come up. So if it does decide to pull back, as far as for the low of the day, it was at $17.20. So as long as we could form another higher low, I think it's definitely a good look for the stock going into next week. So that's why I want to make sure you keep an eye on that level. But most preferably, if I could choose, what I'd really want to see if we could hold support at $18. But again, I know that's a lot to ask. Also, we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership. We could see institutions loading up on shares. No surprises there. And then taking a look at the short interest information, Lucid continues to have short squeeze potential. So that's why you want to keep a very close eye on this play. So that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.